convenient pieces of equipment for your calisthenics training, but also for fitness goals in general. You can use them to assist bodyweight strength exercises and reach those higher level goals such as front levers, planches, muscle ups, one-arm pull-ups. You can also use them to add additional resistance to compound bodyweight exercises such as dips, pull-ups, squats, and so on. You can even sort of use them as weights. And I mean, they weigh much less than weights, so they're super convenient to pack down in your backpack when you're traveling, for example. And you can then use them to perform isolating exercises such as bicep curls, tricep extensions, pull downs, and the list goes on. So in this video, I will show you the band exercises that I think is the best ones. So let's just get to it. I like to categorize exercises with bands into 3 categories. So you have band-assisted bodyweight exercises, you have band-resisted bodyweight exercises, and lastly you just have banded exercises where you actually use the band as resistance. So let's start with the first category, band-assisted bodyweight exercises. The first category of band-assisted exercises we're going to talk about is pull-ups. Now you can use bands to learn pull-ups, or you can use bands to keep progressing towards the one-arm pull-up. And you can even use bands to learn muscle-ups, be it on the rings or on the straight bar, be it slow or explosive. So when exiting this, make sure you don't let go of your hands, but your knees. Otherwise it might be a little bit uncomfortable. The next exercise that's an excellent choice for band assistance, but also for band resistance, is the dip, be it on the rings or on the dip bars. Next up is the front lever, where you can access 3 different difficulties from one single band. All of these can also be done on a bar, but it's usually slightly more inconvenient. Using bands is also perhaps the best way of learning the planche and all of the planche progressions. The only thing to keep in mind here is that the setup you use is pretty important. What's important is that where you place your hands is directly below the anchor point of the band. So in this case, I'm anchoring the band in a bar, and where I place my hands need to be directly beneath. Put the band around your hips and train your planche. You can also do all of the other regressions of the planche, which I do recommend. You can also use bands for training back lever, but in this case I do recommend rings, because otherwise it's going to be super difficult to set up the bands correctly. So you grip the band like this, firmly grip the rings, and you go around in whatever progression you want to train. Tuck, advanced tuck, one leg half lay, open half lay, straddle, full. The tension of the band is not very big here, but you can use the thicker bands to get more resistance. You can actually also use bands to assist your one leg squat, to make squatting accessible from practically anywhere. And you can use it to resist them as well, which will unlock the equivalent of something like a 150 or 60 kg squat, just with a piece of rubber. Now, rubber bands is an excellent way to make your one-leg squats even heavier. I mean, you can do resisted two-leg squats as well, but then I'd rather recommend building up your one-leg squat instead. So when you have your one-leg squat, it's getting too easy. You can step on the rubber band, barefoot to spare the rubber band, and then you need to pull these over your shoulders like this. And this is considerably heavier. And you can obviously mix and match different thicknesses of bands, add an additional thinner band or a thicker band. I just want to mention that all of these equipment, rubber bands, are all sustainably made by me and my new brand. So you can check out Movement Made at movement-made.com if you want to check out our range of minimalistic and sustainable training equipment. If you want a more accurate way of fine-tuning the resistance, you could use something like the multi-strap, which was designed for cases like this, and set up the buckles somewhere where you can step on the multi-strap instead of the band. This will also be better for the band. So in this case, we'd need to do slightly differently. Now the ends are getting clipped into the strap, and then you can tension it later. Okay, the strap goes beneath, and as you can see now, the further up these clips are, the less tension the band will get, and the easier it gets. The further down these buckles are towards your foot, the more tension you get and the higher resistance you get. But same principle. Just for fun, let me try to adjust this to be easier. So I'm going 2 steps up into this loop instead. And now it should feel easier. And it does. Using bands can also be an excellent way of increasing your vertical jump by using resisted jumps. In this case, you need a low anchor point, and you also need something like the multi-strap to control the tension of the band so that you don't snap the band due to too much tension, and so that you can gradually also increase the tension to ensure long-term progress. Keep your distance more or less the length of your lower leg. You wrap the band around your shoulders and stand up where your knees are. And from here, you jump. Holding the band helps a little bit with balance, but it might take a little time to get used to the balance because the band is dragging you down and back. Now, as you can see here, you can move the buckle step by step to decrease the tension or to increase the tension. Now, for all exercises where you anchor the bands to a bar or to something up high, something that can be a little bit problematic is that if you're at different places, the anchor point will be higher and the resistance or the assistance that you get will change depending on where you set up the band. In this case, you attach the band to the buckle on the strap. So one thing is you can decide the tension of the band by clipping it to different steps of the band. The other thing is you can stay consistent with your anchor points. Now let's take a look at some exercises you can use to isolate your muscles, but let's go home.
I decided to split this up to 2 videos. If you want to learn how to use exercise bands as weights and the band isolating exercises that I think are the best choices, you can check out this video here as soon as it's published.